All right. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that track update. And we've had some fun here in the first 2 days of the state track meet covering this on All Red and Queeby. And funny enough, Norris actually in Class B won the overall team award yesterday, winning Class B. They took first place with their overall team points. They had 103.33 team points. Second closest team was Sydney with 55. They had 48 points more than the second place team. It's a great job by Norris, their track and field team, on the boys' side winning the state title. Norris, the girls' side, took fourth place. First pitch from Homolka is in there for a strike to Karen Boswell, the right fielder. Boswell batting .293 in this season and takes a curveball just inside to the righty Boswell, and it's 1-1. Boswell is only a junior, like I said. No seniors in this lineup for Gretna East. Takes the next pitch, down and away, in the dirt, ball 2, 2-1. Boswell, like a lot of these players, used to go to Gretna High before transferring last year to Gretna East in its first season. Swings and misses at that one, 2-2. Used to play football for the Gretna High team as well. He's uncommitted so far, only a junior. Hit his first career high school homer on April 22nd against Millard South. 2-2 count. Ground ball straight to second base. And easily able to be there and make the play is Logan White. Flips it to first, and there's one down quickly. On a ground ball to second base. All right, so here is the sixth hitter in the order, Jensen Albers, playing in center. He's uncommitted. I'm sure he'll be playing collegiate ball, though. Played for the youth team and the American Legion team in Gretna. Is part of the Nebraska Prospects travel team. He used to bowl a little bit, too. Used to be a bowler during the winter. And the lefty digs in. 5-0 Norris. Here's the first pitch from Homolka. In there on the inside edge of the strike zone. No balls in a strike. Homolka has no strikeouts yet. Gave up a base hit back in the first, but he's been pretty good so far. And as I say that, this one's hit into shallow center and a base hit. I apologize. I just won't say anything about the pitching performance from Homolka from this point on. So that's going to be a base hit for Jensen Albers as the commentator curse rears its ugly head. So now a runner on first base here for Gretna East with only one out. Tanner Erdkamp, the 7-hole hitter, playing third base today. The righty comes up to bat next. First pitch from Homolka. Ground ball straight to short. Cale Fountain flips it to second in time. Throw to first. Double play. Norris makes the play. It's a great play. Fountain to White. Back to Bryce Fountain. And a 6-4-3 double play ends the top of the second inning. Norris up 5-0 heading to the bottom of the second. Due up for the Titans is the top of the order. Logan Michael will come up to bat when we return on All Red. Welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Championship game for Class B, brought to you by Crete Area Medical Center, Wilbur & Friend Medical Clinics, Smith Auto in Pawnee City. Learn more at smithauto.ne.com. Tim Hartley with Hebron Tree Service, Plymouth Irrigation and Plymouth Electric, and Wells Implement in Plymouth. Norris up 5-0 heading into the bottom of the second inning over Gretna East in the championship game. Logan Michael hits a high fly ball into right center field. This one is going to hang up there, though, and the catch is made by Jensen Albers, the center fielder, for the first out. The wind blowing maybe a little bit in. It looked pretty well hit, but just didn't have enough on it. So there's one down quickly as Cale Fountain comes up. You're probably wondering why the top of the order is batting here in the bottom of the second. It's because Norris went through the entire order in the bottom of the first, and they lead 5-0. Cale Fountain has a single in this game and scored a run. Forgot to mention that Logan Michael drew a walk on the first at-bat of the game and scored a run as well. Pitch inside 1-0. Pitch up high, but in the strike zone for a 1-1 count. Trevor Cox had a rough start to the game. He's gotten 2 strikeouts, though, already. The 1-1 to Fountain skips up in the dirt for a 2-1 count. Fountain will be an LSU Tiger in a few months after this game. This will be his final involvement with the Norris High School. 2-1 to Fountain, and oh my goodness, Fountain absolutely crushes one, but he was really early on that one, and that one's heading for the parking lot and foul. If he perfectly timed that one, though, that could have been really dangerous for Trevor Cox on the mound. Here's the 2-2. And then Fountain goes after this one and skies one high up in the air. Underneath it in the infield and making the catch is a third baseman, Tanner Erdkamp, for the second out. So there's 2 down for Norris, and this is not the same as they had in the first inning, but at least they have a 5-0 lead. So here's Jordan Monroe, also hit a single in the first inning and scored a run. Batting third in the order. Takes a pitch just inside for ball 1. Beautiful, and by beautiful I mean gorgeous day here in Omaha, Nebraska. This one's hit opposite field by the lefty, straight out to left field. Seth Kragel's got a read on it, makes the catch at the warning track for the third out. So bouncing back after an atrocious first inning as Trevor Cox goes 1-2-3 through the order in the bottom of the second. We'll head to the third. Norris up 5-0 over Gretna East in the Class B state championship game on All Red. Welcome back to the NSAA State Baseball Championship game in Class B, brought to you by Norris Public Power District, Nebraska Land Tire and Service in Crete, AgWest Commodities, your marketing partner. Go online at goagwest.com, and Beatrice Community Hospital and Health Center. 5-0 Norris as we head into the top of the third inning. Gretna East has their 8-hole hitter, Colton Nicholson, playing first base. Defensively, he leads things off for the Griffins. The righty going up against Colton Homolka, still out there on the mound for Norris. We've had a pretty quick start to this game. We've went through 2 innings as Alex Small adjusts something relating to his padding. Looks like something's going on. I think it's the earpiece in his right ear. Something is happening, so they're going to have to come out there and replace that equipment for the time being. We'll have to wait for the next pitch. So Alex Small gets a new earpiece, puts it in his right ear, and I think we're ready to get started here. Colton Nicholson playing. He plays for the Gretna East football team, played for the Legion baseball team, and used to play for the Gretna Basketball Association youth team. So he's played every sport. He's a multi-sport athlete. He digs in, takes the first pitch from Homolka, and swings and misses on an off-speed pitch, 0-1. Well, Nicholson in the win on Wednesday over Blair, in which Gretna East shut out Blair 5-0, only allowed Blair 3 hits in the entire game as he takes one down and away for ball 1. 1-1 is the count. It was a 7-hit game for Gretna East, but what a job on the mound by Austin Copeland and Chase Neneman. That one gets in there for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes, no outs. Norris up 5-0. Thank you for joining us on All Red. Glad you're with us on a beautiful May afternoon. That pitch curves but doesn't curve enough, and it's inside for ball 2. And Nicholson kind of had to turn his body to make sure he didn't get hit by that one. 2-2 the pitch. Oh, wow. Homolka goes inside again, this time inside and high. Rings the count full at 3-2, but once again Nicholson had to duck out of the way of that one. 3-2, Homolka. The pitch, and that's a base hit into left field and down in front of Jordan Monroe. And that's a leadoff base hit for Colton Nicholson of Gretna East. Get things started here in the top of the third inning for the Griffins. Homolka tried to attack him with a fastball to get the punch out. That one was cracked right in between Muller and Fountain at third and short, and right into shallow left. Pretty much bounced right where the dirt meets the grass out there in left field. Showing bunt is Seth Kragel, the 9-hole hitter, and takes one outside for ball 1. He'll probably try to bunt this one and advance Nicholson to second base. Gretna East has a pretty good stolen base number this season. That one's just a tad in there for strike 1. 1-1 is the count. Gretna East has 74 stolen bases this season. Nicholson has none, by the way. He's standing at first base. The 1-1. Showing bunt and bunting down the first baseline is Kragel. Picking it up is Homolka, and he makes the throw to first for the first out. But sacrificing himself is Kragel. It's for Nicholson to advance from first to second. And Gretna East has a runner in scoring position with one out. This is looking very, very similar to that first inning where Tyler Cox, the leadoff man, got on base, sacrificed bunt to second, advanced to third, but ended up getting stranded at third base, didn't score a run. Tyler Cox, funny enough, is up to the plate with one out, runner on second. Got a single back in the first. Takes one down and away to the righty. It's 1-0. Homolka will be playing collegiate baseball for Southeast Community College. We'll be hoping he can play in the collegiate level just as good as he has here at Norris this season. Undefeated record. The 1-0. Ground hit straight through Cale Fountain's glove. And advancing to third base is going to be Colton Nicholson. It's a base hit for Tyler Cox, his second of the game. And there's runners on the corners for Gretna East with only one out. Gretna East trying to get on the board here. 5-0 win over Blair on Wednesday to get to this point, the state championship game. And Norris had a little bit of a tougher task with a 4-3 win against Lincoln Northwest on Wednesday to advance here. Sean Bartholomew said he was very happy that they got that win initially. They didn't have to extend more arms in that second game, which would have been played if Lincoln Northwest were to win. Homolka delivers the first curveball up high to Easton Leahy, who will now get a chance to hit one. He sacrificed bunt back in the first inning. He's the DH. 1 ball, no strikes. Homolka delivers, and that one's grounded foul down the left foul line. Ooh, I don't know if you can hear that, but wind's starting to pick up here in Omaha, or at least that wind gust right there. So any ball out into left field could be dangerous with the wind blowing from right to left. The 1-1 is a step off from Homolka. He'll check on the runner at first. Runners on the corners. 1-1 is the count, one out, top of the third. Norris up 5-0 after a 5-run stint in the first. And a high fly ball into left field. This one's caught by Jordan Monroe. Tagging and scoring from third base is going to be Colton Nicholson. And it's Gretna East who gets their first run on the board here in the state championship game. A sacrifice fly by Easton Leahy for the second out of the inning. Staying put at first base is Tyler Cox, and scoring is Colton Nicholson from third. 5-1 is the score. Norris in the lead. Here's Nolan Green coming up. Rounded out to second base back in the first inning, but Gretna East finally gets that goose egg off the scoreboard, and they have one on. The lefty digs in, stealing second base and running for it, and not getting there in time is Tyler Cox. So Tyler Cox steals second base. That is his 4th stolen base of the season. Or excuse me, my apologies, that's actually his 16th stolen base of the season. His brother, Trevor, only has 3. So runner on second base now after a stolen base. And Nolan Green took one on a swing and a miss for an 0-1 count. So no balls and a strike with 2 outs. I don't know why it only says 1 on the scoreboard. There's 2 down. That one's in there for a strike, 2 outs. I hope that they can figure this out because there's 2 outs right now. There's a sacrifice bunt for the first out and then a sacrifice fly for the second out. And they only have 1 out on the scoreboard right now. Okay, now they changed it to 2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch up high and outside of the lefty for ball 1. I was about to say if there's any sacrifice fly in there and they had it at 1 out, that could have been a little bit of an interesting predicament for Norris, already having 2, but the scoreboard's saying 1. Here's the next pitch, swung on and missed, fanned on for the 3rd out, and the first strikeout of the game recorded by Colton Homolka. But Gretna East is able to get a run on the board, courtesy of a sacrifice fly by Easton Leahy, scoring Colton Nicholson from third. Norris up 5-1, heading to the bottom of the third, up next on Ole Red 99.5. Welcome back to the bottom of the third inning here on Ole Red 99.5. The Class B State Championship game is brought to you by Titan Nutrition in downtown Hickman, Lamo Plumbing in Beatrice, Miller Sales in Claytonia, Building Check, your Seco Building Systems builder in Beatrice. And do you need financing for heavy machinery, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, RVs, ATVs, or other expensive items? Well, visit GoCurrency.com for details. Bottom of the third inning for Norris. They scored 5 runs in the first, scoreless in the second. And a high pop-up on the first pitch to Crew Moeller. Making the play, and a wow. Oh, and dropping the ball. Dropping the ball in shallow center field is the second baseman, Tyler Cox, who had a tough play because the ball was high up in the air and the wind was blowing it around. He had the ball in his glove, but it popped out as he hit the ground, and I think that's going to go down as a base hit here for Crew Moeller. I guess I'm not too sure. We're going to call it a base hit for the time being. But there's one aboard here for Norris, and they're going to check on Moeller over at first. So a base hit here for Crew Moeller will bring up Logan White. Logan White in this game hit a one-run RBI double. Takes one down low again. 2 balls, no strikes to White. Craziness on that first one. I told you that the wind was going to be a big factor in this game, I think. With these wind gusts coming out of nowhere, it can make it really tricky for the infielders and the outfielders on any pop-up or fly ball. Logan White, 2-0 in the count. One skips up in the dirt, so now it's actually 2-0. My apologies. 2 balls, no strikes. Brody Hoover is on deck for Norris. Norris, they're actually not going to call that a base hit for Moeller. They're actually going to call that an E4. That's going to go down as an error, so Moeller will not have a base hit. Here's the 2-0, and that one in there for strike one. Beautiful pitch down the chute. 2-1 is the count. 6 hits, no errors for Norris. 4 hits, 1 error for Gretna East. And there's a swing and a miss there and a pitch inside by Logan White. 2-2 is the count. Phenomenal game for Gretna East on Wednesday. Only allowed 3 hits in total for Blair. Pitched a full game shutout between 2 pitchers. This one's fought for and fouled off. So 2-2. Once again, Trevor Cox trying to go down and outside. Great at bat for White, though, who stayed alive in that one. Thank you for joining us here on Ole Red. 5-1. Norris leads it over Gretna East. 5 runs in the first for Norris. 1 run in the top of the third for the Griffins of Gretna East. Gretna East in their first state tournament appearance, in their first season as a program, in their first year as a school, and they're playing in their first state championship game. It's a year of firsts for Gretna East. For Norris, though, they've been there, done that. They've made it to 13 straight state tournament appearances. I don't think the umpire just realized that it's a 2-2 count, and it's a strikeout. Logan White goes down. He looked at a pitch right there for strike 3. The umpire, there's a lot of confusion going on. The umpire just signaled like it was just a normal strike. Never even made the strikeout signal. And then Logan White was like, well, am I out? I guess I am. And he just walked away. First pitch down low to Brody Hoover. 3rd strikeout of the game, by the way, to Trevor Cox. A lot of confusion going on here because the scoreboard had 2 errors for Gretna East when it was 1. They had only 1 out last inning when it was 2. And the umpire thought it was the 2nd strike instead of the 3rd. So they check on Crew Moeller at first. 5-1 Norris. Runner on first is Crew Moeller. He reached on an error by the second baseman, Tyler Cox. The wind starting to blow here in gusts. Down and away makes it 2-0 count. It's going to be interesting here with the wind starting to pick up in this game, how the Class A state championship later on tonight is going to end up being between Lincoln East and Millard West. I'm sure you can hear the wind through our microphone. 2-0. Down and away, 3-0 to Brody Hoover, who struck out his last time up in the first. Sean Bartholomew standing down the third base foul line as motions some signal to Crew Moeller at first base. 3-0. Ooh, strike down the chute. 3-1. Brody Hoover, interestingly enough, was showing bunt, like he wanted to try and sacrifice bunt. Hoover with a navy blue bat with what looks like kind of orange markings on the top of the bat. Stands in for the 3-1 pitch with 1 out. John Hood is on deck. The 3-1. Hoover cracks one into shallow center, and it drops right in front of Jensen Albers. And it's going to be a base hit for Hoover, his first of the game. Advancing to second is Crew Moeller. Moeller actually had to stay and wait for the ball to drop in front of Albers, the center fielder. He didn't know if that one was going to be caught or not, so Moeller got to second base pretty late, but he gets there in time. Runners on second and first for Norris with only one out. Here's John Hood. He also struck out back in the first in a series of back-to-back strikeouts by Trevor Cox back in that first inning after a terrible start. First pitch curves in there for strike one. Well, John Hood against Lincoln Northwest on Wednesday, going 0 for 1, getting hit by pitch twice, reaching on a fielder's choice as well. No balls and a strike, the pitch. And Hood foul tips into the glove for strike two. On deck is Bryce Fountain. He got a single back in the first inning. He'll be hoping he can come on with bases loaded. But it's no balls and 2 strikes here to John Hood. Here's the pitch from Trevor Cox on the way. Taking off and stealing third base and getting there safely is Moeller. And then taking off from first and stealing second base is Brody Hoover. It's a double steal for Norris, something that we saw twice against Waverly in that game Monday. Moeller advances from second to third. Hoover from first to second. A double stolen base puts both runners now at third and second with only one out. That pitch, by the way, was a ball down low. It's 1-2. John Hood takes the pitch, and that's a strike right at the knees of John Hood. Caught him looking. Hood strikes out for the second time today. 4th strikeout of the game for Trevor Cox, and there's 2 down. Nothing Hood could do there but just look, as he just couldn't get the swing off. Here's Bryce Fountain. Has a single in the first. Has 2 runners on base here. First pitch in there for strike one to Fountain. Well, Trevor Cox, after an absolutely abysmal start, has really found his footing. He is really starting to throw strikes here at a high rate. 0-1 is the count. And that one is outside for ball 1 to the righty, Bryce Fountain, who will play for the Huskers most likely in about 2 years. He's only a sophomore. He'll be a junior next year in high school. He committed to Nebraska in 8th grade, along with his brother, Cale, who committed in 8th grade to Florida State. And a high fly ball out to right field. This one's going to hang up, and Karen Boswell makes the catch out in right for the final out. So Norris leave 2 stranded, something that they did a lot against Lincoln Northwest on Wednesday. We'll hope that isn't the start of a trend. But Norris is up 5-1 heading to the top of the 4th inning. We'll be back after this on All Red.